Hi everyone. My name is Amish Subhash Lakeshri. I'm Director in Cyber Forensics and Incident Response and Privacy from Ernst& Young. So we welcome you all, right? And we have today a great panelist on the topic of how XDR helps to build next generation SOCs. So we have onboarded Milind Vyas, CISO of Grasim Industries. We have Mr. Kishan Kendre, Global Head Information Security Sun Pharma. We have Mr. Suprakash Guha, CISO of Lumina Datamatics, and we have Mr. Lalit Trivedi, Head IT and CISO from ITI Mutual Fund. So we'll start on the topic because when in our era we have seen antivirus, next generation antivirus, then we talked about firewall, next generation firewall, then SIM. So a lot of jargons came and different eras came. We have heard about SASE. Meanwhile, EDR slowly have built up a different tangent for itself and has become a critical component of the entire cybersecurity strategy. And XDR then and got added to the next level of the EDR, which actually monitors and detects and responds to the next level with respect to your entire infrastructure, including your endpoints. With that, we would like to start with Mr. Milind Vyas, CISO of Grasim Industries. So, Milind, could you walk us through the important components of XDR and how they enable SOC teams to detect and respond to the threats more efficiently?
See, XDR is a very broad term. Okay, now earlier there was a typical SOC. Now when the XDR has started evolving, now each and every vendor or each and every research institute, they define XDR into terms different ways. Some defines XDR says, okay, XDR provides robust views across networks. Some defines it integrates visibility across all platforms. Even Gartner and someone defines as SaaS-based SIEM upgrade of the is SNA XDR. Someone says it's a collection of all telemetry and responding based on it. So it's all defined across the multiple ways. But in simple terms, I will say that XDR is collection of all these things, because earlier we used to have it as a SOC where all the security logs are missing into combining into one particular place where correlation happens. Now in XDR is an extended part where your EDR logs goes into network devices, logs goes into AI based UBA activity analysis is being happening, and then SIEM logs also flows into, and the 310 inputs also flows in. So XDR components includes multiple parts like correlation engine, or even analytics based on AI based engine, or UBA part, even threat hunting parts, and investigation reports, and again based on the analytics data, whatever is available from all this and the output. So responding according to the use cases of all this data using SOAR technology. So this all entire combination that makes XDR as a whole.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, thanks for the fantastic way, putting your inputs like on the collection of all the things together, and would be the smartest input to the SOAR to take what action, because SOAR would be the ones which we will define as a playbook, right? How to respond and reduce the MTTR, basically, mean time to respond. So with that, we'll move ahead with Mr. Kishan Kendre, the Global Head Information Security Sun Pharma. Kishan, in your experience, what benefits have you seen from the implementation of XDR in SOC teams? Are there any challenges also that organizations should be aware about before adopting to the XDR?
Okay, thank you. The couple of challenges which I can believe with the integration between the multiple platforms, let's say endpoint as well as to the network, endpoint and the email channel, because these are the three important channels through which we get attacks into the environment. And if you are not able to properly monitor these or a correlation between these three different domains, and not a single vendor is having the expertise in all these three areas, so it becomes very difficult to give the data from one OEM to the other OEM. So we'll not be able to find the actual alert which is actionable to us. So this is the major challenge which I see it with respect to the SOC. And you already know that the anonymous the data generated by these solutions, it's like humongous. Finding an actual alert through this, it becomes a nightmare to everyone. Think about the EDR. If everybody is having a 20,000 agents, generating a telemetry of 20,000 agents, it's a big pool of data which is available. Similarly, with the email infrastructure, whatever as well as with respect to the web. So these are the major challenges which I see, and the benefits which we get it by doing the XDR. I believe it is an extended version of SIM, where by using the XDR, you can have the improved prevention capabilities, granular level of visibilities. You will be able to get it actually between the combined three of this data, which is coming from the endpoints, network, as well as from the web. Plus, we will be having the better productivity of the SOC team, which we always keep doubting the SOC team, they are working or not. The other, what you can say, that you will be able to detect the more advanced threats by doing the correlations. Means we will be able to analyze this data different received from the several data sources. We will be able to customize the alerts, which we can say. And one more jargon everybody says, that reduces the alert fatigue. So this, and it's as the time goes, it's better with the time. And one more major improvement which you can say, it's the remediation part, which was lagging in all the previous solutions. Everybody used to give the alerts, but who will perform the remediation? So this kind of benefits you will get it for the SOC tip, and there is a laundry list of benefits which we get it from this. So these are the things which you wanted to convey to the team.
Perfect, sir. Any specific one you have faced, like the era you have seen last, that is the antivirus, right? And
Correct.
usually some of the people think, okay, I have firewall, I have antivirus, I'm done. But after XDR, what are the difference you have seen in the network?
So the major difference which you can say, that's why I'm saying that the correlation between, even everybody is having the SIM solutions, but the correlation, if you want to do a multi-devices correlation or a data source correlation, which is no SIM solution was able to do it in 100% way. But with respect to the XDR part, because here we were able to find out that how the data is traveling from one place to another place, which is giving a customized way to find out the advanced threats, which previously we don't used to do that. See, I will give a specific example with respect to an endpoint which is trying to communicate to a malicious website, but will not be able to on the proxy. Actual machine will not be able to find out, or the logs which you get it on the endpoint, you will not correlate it with respect to a proxy solution or an incoming email which is coming from outside. If it is get delivered to the end user, we don't used to know that. Or it means for doing the analysis of these alerts which I just mentioned, you have to take almost 15 minutes. One alert used to take 6 to 8 hours to complete the analysis of that particular alert, which is the biggest task. But by using the XDRs, still it is the early days to people for the using the XDR, but you will get the benefits which will be a starting point, and then more improvement will happen in the product. It's not a product actually; it's a correlation platform which we can say it, which will be helpful for getting the better visibility into your whatever the threats coming to your infrastructure or to your organization.
Perfect, sir. Thanks for those inputs. So moving ahead, we'll go to the Mr. Suprakash Guha, CISO of Lumina Datamatics. Suprakash, are there any potential drawbacks or limitations in implementing the XDR, and how do we mitigate this kind of risk when we are adopting and implementing this?
Yes, Amay. Thanks for the questions, and good afternoon and good morning to all the points member here. So you asked the right question. So there are many limitations. So as the earlier speaker was telling, the XDR has brought a revolution in over the regular and conventional EDR solution. So it's proactively hunting the threats and everything. But there are limitations like how we are mapping the logs how we are collecting the information. So that is the main challenges when you are implementing the XDR in the initial stage. So if we, first of all, we have to deploy it in all the endpoints, in all the servers, in all the cloud environment and email servers everywhere. Then we have to set the rules properly so that the false alarm get reduced. So that is the main limitation and challenges when, initial stage when the XDR is getting deployed. And obviously it needs the specific training. The conventional people like who are, already on the MDR or in the EDR solution who are not working, they cannot come immediately to the XDR platform. So they need some training. And obviously there is a cost related to this. Nothing is counts in free, and XDR also one license cost is very costly. So we have to evaluate that. And when you are deploying it, I would not say that it fits for all the organizations. So before implementing that, you have to do a risk assessment on the versus like if we deploy the XDR, what is the cost in terms of if we take the insurance, what is the cost that analysis you have to do and then come into that. I think that is the main limitation here. One, as I told you, is the cost factor, training factor, time of deployment, and how we are mapping all the instances. So that are the main limitations, and how to overcome it. To answer your that next question is like we should give the training first to the people. Like when you are deploying it, it's not that you have just deployed it. They should also know like what to be captured, what not to be captured, how the false alarm can be removed. So that is the main important thing. But with that, we have to overcome it. And another challenge on the cost factor, we should there are many solutions available. So we should search the market, guess the best solution which is suited for the organization, and always we should keep the business in mind. So what is the particular organization business? We have to keep that in mind, and you have to purchase it. So with that steps, I think you can mitigate this risk of EDR, MDR solution, XDR implementation, so that in the future there should not be any regret of buying it. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for those insights, Suprakash. We'll move to the next speaker, Mr. Lalit Trivedi, Head IT CISO of ITI Mutual Funds. So, Lalit, can you discuss any notable success stories or case studies where the XDR has been implemented successfully in SOC team and they're effectively using it and productivity has increased, or other benefits have, come down with respect to the reducing false positives, reducing MTTR, etc.?
See, after SIEM and SOC, MD, XDR is a recent technology which is coming in the market and picking up the market based on the increasing threat landscape across the industry and segment. So now to implement any technology, there are irrespective of use cases, and then we need to have some parameter in place to implement successfully any technology. Considering the XDR, now first we need to understand based on organization what are the security policy we have, and what the data we want to monitor in case of any threat or inside or external threat is coming to your network or your hardware. So after that, once the security policy in place, then you can discuss with the stakeholder or internal user also why implementing XDR, what are the positive advantage of network. Any user will, sometimes user will have back of mind, especially sales and other things, that if you are collecting log, we will collect all sensitive information from my team, my department. These are the general thoughts people will have. So we have to explain user that after implementing XDR, what is the advantage, what is benefit to the organization, how we can save and collect any negative threat coming to your network or data. And third is we need to list down, or we need to make proper inventory number of devices you have to integrate with the SIEM, SOC or XDR. Because if you have 100 devices, not necessary to integrate all 100 devices. There are the critical area or the hardware which store critical data and which exploit to outer network. I think we need to monitor that in the XDR. And third is that we need to evaluate the vendor in proper way, that proper vendor is providing service can provide proper connectivity or connector with the multiple data source. If you have switch, you have firewall, you have servers on any network device, we make sure that the software or services provide seamless integration for all the log collection, and then it is able to define the rules, how you want to uh, generate alert in case any data is collected, and how you in case related to password or some external player, how you want to get the information from system that what incident happened to which network or which data. So these are the some basic thing I think need to integrate, required to integrate any XDR in success.
Great. Thank you, Lalit. So we'll move back to Mr. Milind, a CISO of Grasim Industries. Milind, what are some of the biggest SecOp challenges, or let it be on SecDevOps or anything, that you have seen SOC team faces in recent years, probably this after 2020?
Okay. See, there are many small challenges, but the biggest or critical one which I can highlight specifically is, you can say, a shadow IT, and then another is application compatibility, and the third you can say is a perfect set of use cases. These three are the major challenge what I see at, which is successful requirement for all the SOC or XDR or whatever platform, whatever we believe. Because shadow IT is, I'll tell you, if you don't know what you want to protect, then how can you protect? Right. So it's specifically with this 2020 and all, it happened like majority people have started moving to cloud all of a sudden, and then it can happen like cloud service provider also, they started putting directly services to the thing which is earlier, which was under your on premises control. Now it directly went to the cloud and directly got exposed to the internet, where and because at least on premises all your data passes through your internal network, we'll have at least one or the other way we can trace it. But here it's the entire traceability gets lost. So that was a first challenge what I can highlight. Second is application compatibility, because even for SIEM, specifically for development, customized developed application, okay, it's difficult to what you can say, standardize the logs in the SIEM format for the specifically customized application. And then because in that case, what will happen is there will be a lot of manual effort, or there is a lot of development effort, where based on that the calculation, sometimes management may a decision that saying, okay, to go up to that level is not viable or practical solution, and then let's keep up this application, just take it as a OS or network log and keep it on a high alert mode, something like that. So that is also one of the bigger challenge. And second is on the use cases, because if the use case fails, the entire SOC solution or your operational security team fails. Okay, and then it's very difficult to achieve the perfect balance between not having false positive and getting all exact identification of the alerts. So it's to regularly fine tuning the use cases and continuously evolving the use cases. That is also one of the big challenge what I feel. So that's a
Great. Thank you, Milind, for this. So moving next, Mr. Kishan Kendre, Global Head Information Security and Pharma. So Kishan, what expertise and training are required for our staff to effectively use and manage these XDR solutions? So over to you.
It's a difficult to answer actually, this particular question, because there is no expertise or a rule, or there is no specific training available in the market which will be needed. So you become as a XDR, say a master into that. But I believe if the normal people who are currently doing the SOC monitoring, who are doing the threat hunting, so this will be the starting point. And going forward there, maybe you should be aware about the cyber kill chain. So you'll be able to understand at each level what kind of attacks coming to us. And you'll be able to do a better correlation between them. Then you should be aware about the MITRE attack framework. which is a very big term actually to say that. But you have to be aware about that. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand the attack coming from these three vectors, because XDR is as I mentioned, that it's a journey. It's not a solution which will be deployed in any organizations, which will be a combination of your, as I previously mentioned, with respect to the endpoint, which being in one area, email is in another other area, and the network is in third area. So you'll be able to understand by using the MITRE attack, you'll be able to understand each and every area through which the attacks as well as the things are coming into that, and the vulnerabilities present in this all these things will be able to exploit that. Along with that, I believe means you should be differentiate between the IOC roles as well as the BOISC, they call it as, and then again you should be able to trace as well as investigate the alerts as well as the incidents also. Till the time and clear and exclude, you have to also do an exclusion on top of that. As I previously mentioned, the example again, I will try to give a specific example. Means if you are having a fire, if there is a web monitoring tool which you are having it in your environment, and there is a endpoint which is available there in your environment, how best you can correlate between them to find out that how the data is getting executed. Means how the threat is traveling between the even environment. You have to learn on more. You have to read more. Whatever the new vulnerabilities coming into the picture, what are the daily vulnerabilities getting released for the in-house product as well as the common products. So you'll be able to get the idea and what to look into that. So these are the basic things which I will say you should then. You should be aware about the product which you are leveraging for the EDR or a web or a proxy. You should be aware about that. What components which you are taken it, what kind of logging you are enabled onto this product, what convince you should be able to understand the logging, the logs which are generated by this solution to find out that what to look into this one. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. Whatever you do, training and all this thing, you'll not be able to do this. And the cyber kill chain, as I previously mentioned, each phase you should be aware about what can happen into this one and accordingly take the decision. So these are the on-job learning which I can say. There is no specific training required for this, but these are the basic things you should be aware about that. And then the certification, which I specifically see, CH will be the good point to start in specifically for the XDR product, because it gives that how the tools can be utilized, what are the threats, what are the vulnerabilities, how do you leverage these things. So these are the things, and there are many SAN solutions use many trainings with respect to the forensics and so on. You should be aware about the processes running on the systems, as well as the major thing which I see it, what to look. That is the basic training you should have it.
I think fantastic, Kishan. You have made a very important point over here with respect to the forensics as well, right? When we talk about the forensic, usually we have some other tangent or the other thought process about the forensic, and everyone wants it. Okay, I don't want forensics. It's like hiring doctor or being a doctor for yourself. So it's always good to have a good forensic empanelment, and XDR kind of tool helps a lot in investigation always. And that we have seen in all the investigations, also in our experience, that whenever you're having this kind of tools, even this kind of tools also give you a previous image of, back to 4 to 3 hours, you can define that. And you can again restore it back from that particular angle after the encryption as well, right? So it has a fantastic features, but it's up to us. How do we configure? You rightly said, we should know the attack kill chain and the cyber attack, attack framework itself. So CH is a good starting point to understand and think and how the attackers thinks, right? And we should know all those TTPs.
Correct. Why I mentioned specific to the forensic, see, till the time you know which machine to do, make any sense, because you'll not be able to do thousands machines forensic in your environment.
Yes.
You should look into the logs or say on an endpoint, or say from a web perspective or from a server's perspective. Till the time you find out that which machine might be the probable machine to start with, and then You can go it backwards or a forward, whatever the method which you can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's I think one of the key point we have discussed on this particular talk. So thank you very much for that. Moving ahead, we'll go to the Mr. Suprakash Guha, CISO, Lumina Datamatics. So Suprakash, how does XDR support in compliance with industry regulations and different standards?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for this question. Yeah, you asked a very intelligent question here. So basically, in our IT security place, we have many compliances like the ISO 27001 2022, the GDPR guidelines, might be the US law, American law, or the Canadian law. There are many guidelines are there. So this XDR is now, it has been placed like it is a proactive tool. So that is the one term which I am to use. It is a proactive tool compared to the EDR and the previous MDR. It is giving us the better visibility of the system and the security postures, what is happening. So it is proactively, it is giving a better control, and it is detecting and giving the response also. And also it able to identify the hidden threats, what is there and which was not visible. And sometimes what was happening before, like once the attack happened, we are doing the forensic analysis. But now it is giving a proactive approach to that. So on that aspect, our overall security postures gets improved, and we take the proactive actions. So that way, all the compliance also get increased. Another important point I am to touch upon here, like we are all serving to various clients. Basically, we're in the ITS sector, we have the clients and all. Nowadays, clients are putting this clause in the RFP itself. So RFP itself, the questioners are coming, what kind of XDR solution you have, what are the threats it's able to detect, what are the potential things is coming. That way it is increasing the potential to get the business also. So one side, it is helping to get the more compliance, and all of us are working for the business. And with this compliance, we are able to put our case, very stronger in front of the business through RFP and the other process. So this way, definitely it is a very good, milestone to, be on the compliance, because previously the documentation was the thing which we are mostly, seeing on the compliance side. But nowadays we need the logs, we need the analysis, we need the correlations, and that are all this XDR solution is able to provide, and hence, our compliance, getting enhanced. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Meanwhile, would you like to also talk about a little bit on certain guidelines or 6 service reporting?
Got it. So certain is basically has came out with the guidelines now. So they have given the few pointers like we should keep the logs for 1 year. So that is the very clearly guidelines they are given. So one of the a very big solution which you give. And also it told that any attacks or anything happen, we should inform them within 72 hours. So that way XDR will be able to provide the early information which will help us to comply with that. And also the first instances, like once the instances happen, we have to submit the forensics. So one moment this forensic comes, then you have to deploy our IR team. And when IR team comes into play, they'll be definitely asking the logs and the analysis. And that way this XDR will play a big role. And with the current certain guidelines, they are coming very strong. And recently some incident happened, like previously we are thinking the government organizations, they don't have the visibility, but this is not the fact now. They have the experts sitting there, and they have the complete visibility of the Indian market, Indian companies, and they are proactively alerting us. So we have to follow their guidelines, and they're very strong on the actions. If we don't comply with their timelines and all, they are coming heavily. So that way it is helping to guide us certain guidelines also.
No, absolutely. So, thanks for these insights. And rightly mentioned, it is like a proactive tool which is helping, in fact, your IR team for better performance and better, reaction time, right? And also helping with the compliance to connect, because earlier you have to identify classification, you have to do the classification of the assets, then what kind of logging you want to enable, and all those pieces again you have to go for a SIM, then you have to do the retention period and all that. Somewhere by default, this kind of technology coming and helping you in a way, in a different way to do that particular job as well. So thanks for bringing this approach.
Yeah, thank you.
So moving next to Mr. Lalit Trivedi, head IT and CISO of IT and mutual funds. Lalit, there are often many myths and misunderstandings surrounding XDR or any EDR or MDR. Could you please discuss some of those popular misconceptions about XDR and its actual reality?
Yeah, I'll focus here just 2-3 points here. First, normally whenever we talk about XDR, people understand that EDR and XDR same or a similar technology. So where we need to have whether XDR or an EDR is an individual or collection of end user device, where MDR is collect the log of across the network. So there is a big scope or big difference between XDR and EDR. Second, people think that XDR and SIEM are similar, than what is different. So here we can just explain that SIEM is a traditional and it collect log and require big manual effort to analyze the log and generate the report or response to that incident, where XDR is the extended version of SIEM which has capability to analyze the log and response on time. So it help on your organizers to take action or on any incident on or before time. And third option, I can say whether XDR and what is different between XDR and AI. So AI is also advanced version intelligent and XDR is also intelligent, and what is different. So here I can say that XDR has inbuilt capability of AI to detect and response of any incident which received across the network. So these are the three things I think major important to clarify the things.
Sure, Lalit ji. One more question, one more additional question to that. Maybe to the startups and to the different organization who are moving from a kind of a different cyber posture to the next level. They think they have antivirus and antivirus with anti-ransomware element, anti-malware element, and they are enough because they are doing it a signature basis, etc. Right? But what benefits they will get when they move? What exactly they are going to take a journey differently, and how they are going to get benefited? Right? Some of the question has been already answered by Kishan. But I just want to give one message to those startups and to SMEs, right, from you. What is the difference, actual difference between this antivirus and EDR or XDR?
Okay.
Basically,
See here, basic because antivirus it has some limitation to first thing it detect all malware or antivirus across the network or in end user, where it just collect and give you the information. It has some capability to prevent that those attack malware attack on the system is taken care or configured in the antivirus properly. When XDR has advanced capability to collect all the log irrespective of any antivirus malware, it collect systemware log, it collect all user behavior activity on the individual system and network, and it can respond accordingly. These are the major difference between antivirus and XDR. So XDR work across the organization irrespective of the device and the activity, where antivirus has some limitation in this area.
Great. Thank you, Lalit. So moving quickly, we have one more question. It is open for everyone, and it's quite how does XDR helps to reduce the false positive and improves the accuracy of the threat detection? So anyone wants to go ahead? Milind, Suprakash, Kishan ji?
Yeah, basically, I'll take it. I'll just explain few things. Now, basically, it depends on how nicely we are fine tuning to collect the logs. So I was telling in my topics discussion time. So we are connecting to the endpoints. We are collecting the logs. How nicely you're filtering it, or this threat collaboration, how we are doing it. That is the key, and that needs the expert experience and nice one SOC team who has the capability to do it, and that is the key, I feel, to reduce the kinds of log generate and reduce the false positive and get the right thing. Yeah, over to the forum for a few more updates.
On top of it, what Suprakash ji say. Okay, so now in normal traditional SIEM, what happens is the visibility of the log, which it's only from the one particular source. And then the team analyzes based on the data, whatever is available. And then they will say, okay, this can be a potential threat, or it can be potential activity or event. But based on in XDR, if we are getting input from other devices or other equipments or other sources, now based on that user behavior or based on that other things, that event can further reduce or fine tune to identify exactly, okay, now there are the 10 incidents, but out of that 10, maybe 9 is false positive because of so and so reason, and because of this. So for example, if a user is travel to some other location, so the proxy logs, it says that, okay, user is traveling to here, but in your normal UEBI, it says saying, okay, this user has logged in from different city. That can be an alert. But now because of the other sources, we are aware that user has traveled. So that means it's a genuine part. And that can be a filter. So based on multiple inputs, the total event which is identified can be further fine tuned to get exact reach to the accuracy of the event. So that can be benefit of XDR.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. So it is like, we know in the IT term, everything is events, but everything is not incident. So
Right.
differentiating between the events and incident, for that you have to focus. I think you have touched a very good point. Very good.
Suprakash ji and Milind ji, thank you very much.
Just to add, Kishan here.
Yes, Kishan.
As the name suggests, the extended detection and response. The detection part is by getting the better visibility into the events or the alerts from different data sources, which will give a clear picture what to look into the pool of events, and then remediate on top of that. So that's the benefit, the major benefit which you get from an XDR solution. And as Lalit mentioned, it's an extended version of SIEM. Currently, it is the major challenge which I see it, the OEM has to support, multiple OEM has to come together to support with each other. Otherwise, the extended detection and response, it will be difficult to achieve it actually.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you for all the insights. So I think we are at the end of the particular webinar. And what I'll do, I'll just have noted down some of the key pointers from each one of you. I'll just, state it back, and then we'll open it for a closure of the particular forum. So Milind said the different keywords are like collection of the things, shadow IT, application compatibility, cloud adoption, traceability, customized application logging, development, use cases for the operational security, false positive fine-tuning, user behavior, and multiple different sources. Then Kishanji said integration between platforms and correlation. What are the actionables we need? Endpoint, network, and the web. These are the three major elements to look after. Advanced threats, alert fatigue, remediation, threat hunt, cyber kill chain, MITRE ATT&CK framework, and it's a journey, IOC rules, and investigate. Suprakash said how we are mapping logs and collecting information, how we are setting up the rules, reducing the false positive. Training is important. Cost, time, training, and how to. Those are the four major challenges. Understand the business, regulations, what are there, what are the compliance they need to follow. Proactive tools, right? It's a kind of a proactive tool now. Better visibility and a better posture we'll get with the XDR. Potential threats to the business you need to identify with using this particular tool. And it helps in forensics, and also it's a kind of a proactive version for the IR team. Mr. Lalit said it's kind of a threat landscape that we need to understand. The different use cases and the parameters KPIs needs to be defined. Security policy needs to be adhered to, and it should be in line with the collection and the analysis of the particular log sources. The data has to be monitored. You need to understand the classification with respect to the sensitive information, what is not sensitive, what is sensitive, what is confidential. The different inventory, we need to understand what are you protecting. The inventory is important. And EDR versus XDR, you told us about that particular point. SIM versus XDR, you told us about XDR versus AI, and you also have given us a basic understanding that is a need of an hour, which is antivirus versus XDR. So thank you, Milind ji, Suprakash ji, Lalit ji, and Kishan ji. I'll open it one by one over to you guys for maybe 30 seconds bite for a closure of this particular And then probably we also have to give one more bite to the organizers. Over to you, Milind.
Thank you, Amay, for a great discussion and great moderation. And thank you, Kishan ji, Suprakash ji, and Lalit ji. It was a great insight. Nice to discuss with you and connect with you. So, thank you.
Right. Thank you all. Thank you for the wonderful experience which you have shared with us. That gives a good insight which will be helpful for our future journey. I also thank Amay and the CXOTV for arranging these sessions.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Amay. And you have summarized it very well. I think you have captured all the points and summarized. Thank you very much. And thank you, Lalit ji, Amit, Kishan, and Milind for joining this session. And it was a very insightful session. And thanks to CXO platform for hosting it and giving the opportunity to share our thoughts. Thank you very much. We immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amay. It was a really good session. Normally discussed in so many places, but now what we discussed is great insight from all the leaders, and I think got good insight in case in near future we want to implement XDR, then what things we need to consider before implementation. I think. And thank you so much, CXOT, for organizing such wonderful sessions.
Great, thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.